All right, let's get started. We're diving deep today into Steve McKnight's Money Magnet,
Yeah, great book.
a roadmap to financial freedom. Or at least that's the big promise. I'm ready to see how he delivers.
Well, one thing that really struck me is how McKnight breaks it all down.
Mhm.
He's got this two-pronged approach, financial IQ
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
and financial EQ.
Okay, so the brains and the heart of money.
Exactly. Financial IQ, that's all about the practical stuff like budgeting and investing, the mechanics of it all. But then there's financial EQ.
That's where it gets interesting. Our feelings towards money. How do those factor in?
Well, McKnight argues that mastering both is crucial if you actually want to build lasting wealth. And he kicks things off with a pretty stark statistic. Over 75% of Australian retirees
Wow, okay, that many.
end up relying on the age pension. His point being that if you just kind of blindly follow the crowd financially.
You might not end up where you want to be.
Exactly.
It's easy to fall into that trap, right? Especially with the age pension. A lot of folks maybe see it as...
Free money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a guaranteed safety net. But McKnight, he seems to have a different take.
Oh, absolutely. He's very clear that it was intended as a safety net, not the main event, not a primary retirement plan. And he warns that viewing it as this free money thing,
Could lead to trouble down the road.
especially as you closer to retirement and realize
It's not enough.
exactly.
And I think it's easy, especially when you're younger, to think,
There.
retirement, that's ages away. I'll worry about it later. But McKnight, he shares this really personal story, a health scare that really shook him up.
Yeah, that one hit hard.
Made him realize, you need a strong why, a powerful reason for building wealth. It can't just be about buying stuff.
And he contrasts that thing's motivation with its idea of
Yeah.
buying back time and freedom.
Right. Which resonates more with you saving for stuff or saving to free up your time.
Oh, time and freedom, hands down. And he even uses this example of his daughter, Cassie. She chooses to prioritize car insurance
Interesting.
over, like, expensive cocktails, you know.
So she sees car insurance as more valuable.
It's about the freedom it represents, that independence.
Yeah, it's like she's investing in her own mobility, her own control over her schedule.
Exactly. And McKnight mentions that saving even a seemingly small amount, like $224 per week,
Okay.
could be the equivalent of buying back one entire workday per week, and not just for a year,
Wow.
forever.
That changes the whole budgeting game. It's not about restriction, it's about,
Unlocking possibilities.
yeah, achieving your goals, like having more time and flexibility.
Okay, so we need a vision. Got it. But how much do we actually need to save for a comfortable retirement? Does McKnight give us a magic number?
He lays out a few different approaches. He starts with that familiar rule of thumb, needing 80% of your pre-retirement income. But then he brings in the ASFA retirement standard,
Right, I've heard of that.
which tries to be more comprehensive, more realistic.
But there's been some pushback, right?
Mhm.
Some critics saying it maybe underestimates what's truly needed for a good lifestyle.
Yeah, some valid concerns there. And then there's those super consumers Australia calculations.
Yeah, they seem pretty detailed.
They offer a more nuanced approach. They look at different living standards, whether you're single or part of a couple. Things like leisure activities, healthcare costs. For a high standard of living in retirement, a single person would need around $59,000 per year. Couples, it bumps up to about $74,000 per year.
So a range of benchmarks to think about. And then, of course, there's Steve McKnight's own target. He aims for
$100,000 per year.
100,000.
It's ambitious.
It is. That translates to needing an investment pot of about $1,250,000. He does break it down, though,
Yeah.
Shows how to get there through a combo of superannuation and other investments. Pretty inspiring, right?
Definitely makes you think bigger. But before we jump into those specifics, I think we need to unpack superannuation itself. Seems like a pretty crucial piece of this whole puzzle. Oh, absolutely. Super, it's the cornerstone of retirement planning here in Australia. It's a system where a portion of your earnings is set aside, invested over time, all to fund your golden years.
Right. Superannuation, familiar but often misunderstood. So does McKnight demystify it for us?
He does, yeah. He breaks down the different types of funds, highlights the power of compound growth.
That snowball effect.
Exactly. The earlier you start, the more time that money has to grow. Potentially turns into a pretty hefty nest egg by the time you retire. But McKnight doesn't shy away from the downsides either.
Downsides. Oh, interesting. Curious about those. What are some of the limitations he points out?
Accessibility is a big one.
Yeah.
Your super funds, they're generally locked away until you hit preservation age.
Makes sense.
And that age, it can vary depending on when you were born.
Right. So if you're thinking about early retirement,
Could be a problem. Or, if unexpected expenses pop up before you reach that age.
not ideal. What other drawbacks are there?
Fees. Some super funds can have pretty hefty fees.
Yeah, those can eat into your returns.
Big time over the years. And then there's the issue of investment choice. Some funds might limit your options.
So you might not be able to tailor your investments to your risk tolerance or your specific goals.
Right. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
So it's more than just setting and forgetting.
Right.
You really need to be proactive.
Absolutely. Stay informed. Make sure your super's working for you.
If super isn't the be-all and end-all, what other strategies does McKnight suggest?
He encourages readers to become savvy investors, explore different asset classes, build a diversified portfolio.
Okay, so spreading your risk.
Exactly. He dives into property, shares, even some alternative investments.
Getting fancy.
But he always stresses the importance of research, due diligence.
Don't just jump in blindly.
Right. Understand the risks involved. And he's a
Right.
big proponent of building a power team.
A power team.
Yeah, financial planners, accountants, mortgage brokers, folks like that.
Which help you navigate it all.
Exactly, because it can get complex.
It sounds like McKnight really wants to empower people, to take control, not just rely on one strategy.
He does. He advocates for a hands-on approach, for building that financial literacy so you can make informed decisions.
That makes sense. Financial literacy, that's key. But all this planning, this research, can be a bit daunting, no?
He acknowledges that, but he really emphasizes the growth mindset, continuously learning, adapting to those ever-changing market conditions.
So stay curious, stay agile.
Exactly. And he reminds us that financial freedom, it's not just about accumulating wealth.
In fact, it's about what you do with it.
It's about using that wealth to create a richer, more fulfilling life for yourself and for others.
I love that perspective. It's not just about personal gain.
It's about aligning your finances with your values, with your purpose, and giving back to the community.
So we've got our why, our vision, we've looked at the numbers, considered super, even dipped our toes into diversified investing. But what about the emotional side of it all? That's what intrigued me about McKnight's concept of financial EQ.
Yeah. Now we're getting to the heart of money management.
Uncovering those money gremlins.
Exactly. That's where he really shines. He digs into those emotional traps that can sabotage our financial goals.
Yeah, I think we all know that feeling. Our emotions can really trip us up when it comes to money.
Oh, for sure. And McKnight gets into some of those common pitfalls: impulse spending,
Ugh, guilty.
the fear of investing,
Yep. And then
even that guilt that can sometimes creep in when you start building wealth.
interesting. So it's not all sunshine and roses?
Right. But
Yeah.
he offers this toolkit, ways to recognize and manage those money gremlins.
Love that term, money gremlins.
Yeah.
So how do we go about taming them?
Well, McKnight suggests a few strategies. Practicing gratitude,
Okay, appreciate what you have.
being mindful of your spending habits, setting realistic expectations.
So it's about shifting your mindset.
Exactly. Cultivating a healthier relationship with money. It's not just about eliminating the negative emotions, but
Developing a more sustainable way of thinking about it.
yeah, a long-term approach. And he emphasizes that true financial freedom, it's not just about the numbers in your bank account.
It's about the life you're able to live.
Exactly. Having the freedom to pursue your passions, to live in alignment with your values.
So after this deep dive into Money Magnet, what would you say is the key takeaway for our listeners?
I think McKnight's main message is that we can all become money magnets. It's about combining a solid financial strategy with that empowered, positive money mindset, attracting abundance, living a life of purpose.
Powerful stuff. So it's not about getting rich quick, it's a journey.
A journey, for sure. Aligning your finances with your values and your vision.
What's one concrete step our listeners can take this week to start down that path?
Start small. Pick one thing you can improve, whether it's your financial IQ or your EQ. Maybe it's creating a budget,
Okay, a practical step.
learning about investing, or even just becoming more mindful of where your money is going.
Those little changes can add up over time.
Absolutely. Consistency is key.
I'm feeling inspired to get started.
That's the spirit. Financial freedom, it's a journey. And McKnight, he's given us the map, the tools, the philosophy.
Well, there you have it, our deep dive into Money Magnet by Steve McKnight. Hope you're feeling empowered and ready to take charge of your financial future.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. It would be a great source of help to maintain and develop this channel and the correlated website. This book overview was presented to you by olbooksummary.com. Are you interested in more insights into personal development books or motivational and inspirational books? Please visit olbooksummary.com and you will find a library of the most helpful self-development and human character development books overviews. See you soon with the next books overview video.